through half-empty looking-glass examples of demand avoidance, maybe a tad hyperbole by Richard Woods, London Southbank University PhD student. This is intending to be about a 15 to 20-minute video, just briefly talking about a couple of examples of demand avoidance and considering if they are potentially rational or irrational. And it is unscripted, and I'll try and be a bit light-hearted about the topic. Um, and it so yeah, this is probably going to be my only video for this month. So moving on. So briefly about my perspective. So yeah, I am diagnosed as autistic in 2012. I do have a post-autistic identity. I do meet Elizabeth Nee's PDA behaviour profile, but I'm not emotionally attached to it. I'm part of the critical autism/disability studies group at London Southbank University, but I'm currently on a gap year from a PhD. I'm the project lead for the PDA special issue in Frontiers in Education, and I'm currently, and I do peer review PDA manuscripts. So yeah, it's a bit about my background and lived experience and academic expertise on the topic. So, oh, why don't you working? There we go. So, this is just a quick slide to say that I'll be mentioning my conflict of interest in the this video description instead of today, just to save some time briefly. Um, so yeah, I will be putting a link to my talk from October around the kind of rational versus irrational demand avoidance debate, with so you can, if anyone's interested in diving this topic in more detail, they and more depth, they can go and check that out. I'll put the link in the description. But I just want to point out that when one considers if demand avoidance is rational or irrational, there are a few options. Um, so yeah, it can either be neither rational or irrational in nature. It can be only rational or only irrational, and then you can have it be both rational and irrational in nature. Um, my favorite example is option is just avoiding deciding or considering if demand avoidance is rational or irrational in nature, and there might be good reasons to take that option. So, um, it's also worth considering who gets to decide if demand avoidance is rational or irrational demand avoidance in nature. So, who gets to decide if a person's demand avoidance is irrational or rational for non-speaking PDAs, for PDAs with intellectual disability, for non-autistic PDAs, PDAs from global majority cultures such as collectivist-based cultures, and also for PDAs who are not part of the PDA community like myself. As I'll discuss in the video briefly, I have good reasons to not be part of it. Um, so, this is the first example. So that is a lovely photograph of my main pair of glasses, which for my current prescription because I'm short-sighted. So I've got. I often express the avoidance to demand to wear them. So, and it's not really around anxiety or stress. It's just because I associate wearing them with work. So, but I need to wear the glasses to see properly, to not have slightly blurry vision, to not get headaches and stuff. But it feels like it's constraining my freedom, my autonomy to have to wear them. Presently, I'm not wearing them, um, and it's a case of like, um, I mean, you can argue that is irrational because it helps me. There's rational reasons for me to wear the glasses, but at the same time, you can argue if it kind of potentially helps me relax a bit more or feel a bit more comfortable, or if my autonomy is being expressed, you can see it's rational. I don't necessarily, but that's just a bit about that quick example. So this is a bit more of a noise and in-depth example. So, um, so yeah, last year in 2024, I was corresponding with Brook Madeira, trying to get them to stop the ad hominem actions against me. Um, and I and more often than not, Brooke Madeira has been relatively pleasant and okay in the email interactions. But I was expressing demand avoidance to interact with them because if you're aware of my previous videos and views on topic, certain PDA profile autism advocates like Brooke Madeira have shall we say, they frequently express behaviours that are attacking me and have a negative impact. So I was expressing demand avoidance to corresponding with them. Because some people would say it's for good reasons, but I was thinking, well, this is obviously irrational demand avoidance because Brooke Madeira is perfectly fine in these emails. Lo and behold, without me knowing, Brooke Madeira was publishing my emails. So without informing me and without asking my consent, I do view it to be bullying because the main reason one would publish emails without consent, without knowledge, or other private correspondence is to make someone look bad. But Madeira has not published these to make me look good. I think that's a fair and reasonable statement. And yeah, so the reason I'm saying this is because one could say, from my original perspective, before finding out about Brooke Madeira publishing these emails, is that I was having irrational demand avoidance, but from the broader perspective, the fact that actually it turns out that Brooke Madeira was participating in these attacks against me through such actions as publishing emails, that um, that actually it was quite rational demand avoidance to be reluctant to well, yeah, avoiding the demand to do that, to correspond with them. So um, yeah, it's actually pretty ironic. There is also the other hand side of it. You can invert the argument and the scenario in saying, well, Richard, if you knew that the people at Brooke Madeira have been attacking you, you can argue that it's rational you can argue there's a demand for me to not interact with them. And that I was irrationally avoiding the demand to not interact with them um, by corresponding with Brooke Madeira to try and get them to stop the attacks. So the other way of phrasing it without putting a negative connotation in there is demand for me to leave certain PDA profile autism advocates alone, to not give them any potential reason to, well, any extra potential reason to continue their attacks against me. And that by corresponding with Brooke Madeira and trying to rationalise with them and engage with their concerns and stuff, that to get them to stop their bullying and harassment of me, that I was irrationally avoiding that demand to leave them alone. So yeah, it's the reason why I mention this is because it's not clear cut, and this example is rational or irrational, and it's a matter of perspective. Because from my understanding, Brooke Madeira would say that she views me as having rational demand avoidance and not a PDA. They would probably say that I was expressing rational demand avoidance when I was to the demands to email them and contact them and correspond with them. But from my perspective, it was irrational because I didn't know they were I didn't know they were publishing my emails and continuing to bully me and they continue attacks against me. So it's, as I keep pointing out, that what is irrational demand avoidance is inherently subjective, and it's a value judgment. It's also a matter of perspective. So yeah, I'm just going to be asking some reflective questions. So, are these examples of rational and/or irrational demand avoidance? Again, who decided these examples are rational or irrational demand avoidance? Are there things with more priority to focus on instead of deciding if demand avoidance is rational or irrational demand avoidance? So, I'm basically asking, should we even be bothering to decide if demand avoidance is rational or irrational in nature? So, I would often point out that the impact of expressing demand avoidance can be quite profound often and can be quite problematic, and that we should instead be focusing on adequately addressing the fact that people are expressing demand avoidance and the impact that that has and the problems it creates for the person expressing it and the people around them, which are often quite can be quite extreme and difficult. I don't like using those kind of heavily laden words like profound and severe and difficult, like and intense and all that kind of stuff. But it just I, I never want to underplay the challenge, the what the challenges and difficulties people are experiencing due to the demand avoidance that they express and experience. So yeah, so that's basically it. So I'm going to end with may your stimming activities be many and your flow states long, which is obviously equivalent to live long and prosper. And I think that's it for this one. Oh, and my contact details. So there's my contact email, my Twitter or X handle, my ResearchGate link, and my channel that you'll be watching the video on. So yeah, thank you, and I'll be back next month in February 2025 with another video.